Shalom, sisters of Israel. Welcome to Fruitful Possession. My name is Sister Jemima of the House of Jacob. I hope you enjoyed today's PowerPoint presentation. This is for educational purposes only. Please consult with your doctor or midwife for medical advice. Thank you. Today's PowerPoint presentation will cover preventable injuries. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. When childproofing your home, you want to consider the age of the child. Is it a newborn? Or is it at the crawling stage? Is it a toddler? Or even a child? Newborns fall within 0 to 12 months old. But at the crawling stage, that begins at 6 months up until the age of 12 months. Toddlers fall within 12 to 36 months old. And a child will begin at 3 years old up until the age of 12. Newborns. They fall between the ages of 0 and 12 months old. During this time, you want to make sure the baby's crib adheres to current safety standards as specified by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. This is actually a good website for you to subscribe to or to monitor, for perhaps they will send you some alerts to let you know of any recalls, things like that. In this stage, you want to keep the baby's crib free of pillows and bumpers and stuffed animals and blankets, because the baby could be susceptible to suffocation or a sudden unexpected death syndrome, things like that. You want to make sure you don't put these things in there. Even though they may look comfortable, they're safe, they're cute, it recommends that you do not put free of pillows, bumpers, stuffed animals in their blankets, because it can injure the child. Place baby monitors and their electrical cords at least 3 feet away from the crib. So it's giving you some advice. It says use hands-on supervision during bath time and on the changing station. Install smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors. Get in the habit of closing the toilet lid. Consider installing a latch. Install gates to prevent access to stairs and other areas parents wish to keep off limits. So this is great. It says adjust water heater temperature to maybe 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Create a storage area for purses and briefcases that is out of reach of children. You want to make sure you anchor TVs, things like that, and furniture, because children, once they start moving around, they're going to start exploring things. So if you can do it before that, you have a big head start on this in trying to prevent any injuries or death in your family. The crawling stage is between ages of 6 and 12 months old, and these are some of the characteristics that you have to think about, because if they're crawling, they're going to crawl around the room, crawl around different areas, and some surfaces are rigid. So it says crawling and cruising children will grab onto almost any surface and may pick up any visible item at this stage, because they're low to the ground, they see things, they're curious. Everything is new and exciting to them, and they like to check out new items by tasting them. So they have no idea what's danger to them at this stage. So when you get distracted on a phone, or you may have someone over, or you're out somewhere, you want to keep an eye on your children. That's why it's really good to have them in a baby sling. Even though you don't see a lot of mothers wearing them in baby slings, it's great to keep them close to you. You can prevent a lot of these injuries because you have the baby with you. Then you can also breastfeed and do other things, change the baby. You'll know when to change the baby. You'll know when the baby's sleeping. You know where the baby is because the baby is on you in a baby sling, and you still have your hands free. It says, as soon as your baby begins rolling over, take care of all the items on the newborn list. In addition, childproofing for curious crawlers includes new steps. So I haven't seen anything on what are these statistics for mothers who carry their babies on baby slings. Do they experience these kind of injuries at this age? You may want to look into that, because if you have a baby close to you, you probably will not be susceptible to these things because they're not crawling on the ground all the time. You have them with you. They're in some sort of safe thing, and when there is time for them to crawl, when there's a time allotted for them to crawl and play, you are right there. And it says crawling cover electrical outlets lower than counter height and select products that are not choking hazards. Remember your kitchen island, things like that. Remember night lights and any other lower outlet. So you want to read on to this too. So it tells you if you have an injury, call this number up here. Empty bathtubs and buckets of water immediately after use. Right? Ask older siblings or visiting children to pick up their toys carefully after playing with parents, double checking the area. So of course you want to have baby monitors. You want to have everything. You want to be able to watch everything around you, because you may be working from home, and you want to keep an eye on things. Let's take a look at this next video.
Hello! In this health sketch, we want to talk to you about CPR, which stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. We use CPR when someone has collapsed and is not breathing, because it can keep people alive until emergency services arrive. Learning these simple life-saving skills is as easy as ABC. All you have to remember is the doctor's ABC. D is for danger. First, look around carefully to make sure the area is safe for yourself and others before approaching. R is for response. Shake them gently by the shoulders and ask them loudly, "Are you all right?" If there is no response, you need to. S. Shout for help, as any assistance will be helpful. A is for airway. Gently tilt the head back like this to open up the airway. B is for breathing. Look, listen, and feel for signs of normal breathing. Look for normal chest movements. Listen for normal breathing sounds. And try to feel their breath against your face. Do this for no more than 10 seconds. If there is no sign of breathing, or if they are breathing in an unusual, noisy way, we need to start CPR. First, make sure that an ambulance is on its way. If you have someone with you, ask them to make the call. Putting the phone on speaker mode is useful, as the ambulance service can talk you through the steps. C is for circulation. Circulation means the flow of blood around the body, and when the heart stops pumping, we need to take over this role by pushing down hard and fast on the chest. Start by placing the heel of one hand at the centre of the person's chest and interlock your fingers like this. With arms straightened, press down hard and fast, letting the chest come back up fully each time. Fast means around 2 times every second. And hard means that the chest needs to go down by about 5 centimetres. This might sound a lot, but you do need to push hard for it to be effective. If you have been trained, you can give 2 rescue breaths after every 30 compressions, as this helps provide some oxygen. However, if you have not been trained or are not comfortable, just keep going with hands-only continuous chest compressions. If someone else is with you, swap over if you begin to feel tired, and don't stop until either a health professional takes over or the person is definitely breathing normally. Sometimes we can add another step. D. D is for defibrillation, which is about delivering a shock to restart the heartbeat. Some public areas and workplaces have an easy-to-use defibrillator on site, called an automatic external defibrillator, or AED. Automatic means that it is the machine that decides what to do, so you can't go wrong, and it even talks you through the steps. If there is no AED available, keep going with CPR until the ambulance arrives. That's it. So to recap, remember doctor's ABC. And if you have it, D. That's D for danger, R for response, S, shout for help, A for airway, B for breathing, C for circulation, and D for defibrillation. In this health sketch, we've shown you the simple steps you can take to help someone who has collapsed, is not breathing, or not breathing normally. Why not take a training course to practice these steps? Share this video with friends and family to make sure we all know what to do. Health sketch. Health for all to see.
So toddlers are falling within the range of 3 to 5 years old. Toddlers like to run and climb and walk. They're curious about their surroundings. They notice shapes and colors, and so they want to explore. As they won't always follow your instruction of no, it is best to have safety gates installed early so that your child knows which rooms are off limits. So you want to be able to create those boundaries early. For example, if you want to make sure they don't go down the stairway, you want to put up a child safety gate. You want to put them in a playpen. You want to make sure they're just in a room, particular room. You don't want them to go in certain areas. Be prepared to give lots of clear reminders about safety because this is the teaching stage. They're growing and they're developing and they're learning everything from you. As children this age cannot remember even simple rules, make sure that the steps in their previous stages have been completed and work on the following as well. You want to make sure you want to keep the windows latched as well because children can easily walk over to the windows and just open them or grab a doorknob because they know how to walk now. So it says keep windows latched. Screens will not protect a child from a window fall. Lock doors to the outside. Keep household medications in child-resistant containers and in a high cabinet. Never refer to medicine as candy or taking medicine in front of them because they'll see that and they'll think you're eating candy. They're not going to think you're taking medicine. Toddlers like to imitate adults, so they would actually try to do what you do if you leave your medicine near them. Unplug small appliances and keep them out of reach. Remove sharp items from countertops. Secure doors to off-limit areas such as cellars and garages. So you want to make sure you create an off-limits area. Even put up a child safety gate so that they can't get in certain areas. And if you have like a baby monitor, a camera, you can see what they're doing. If you're working from home and you have a babysitter and you're watching them, you want to make sure they are supervised correctly. Install stove knob covers. Create a space of reach of children for small electronic devices to rest and charge. Place hot foods and liquids on the center of tables and countertops, not on edges, tablecloths, or placemats. This makes it harder for them to get into things. Because, of course, if it's on the edge, it's easier for them to get up, walk, and go over there and grab it right away before you can actually react. Be careful with chairs and step stools, especially for climbers. Ensure couches and other furniture are not placed next to balconies or railings. Drowning prevention. This information can be found on cdc.gov. Drowning is a serious public health problem. About 11 people die each day from drowning in the United States. More children ages 1 through 4 die from drowning than any other cause of death except birth defects. Drowning can happen in seconds and is often silent. It can happen to anyone, anytime there is access to water. Drowning kills nearly 4,000 people each year in the United States. Drowning is the leading cause of injury, death for children between the ages of 1 and 4 years of age. Between 2010 and 2019, there were about 8,000 emergency department visits for non-fatal drowning each year. So let's take a look at some facts, and then we're going to go into prevention. So with Some drowning facts, it says. In the United States, more children ages 1 through 5 die from drowning than any other cause of death except birth defects. What is drowning? Drowning is the process of experiencing respiratory impairment from submersion or immersion in liquid. Not all drownings are fatal. So you can get out of this sometimes. You may not have a fatal incident, but there could be some damages. It says, while children are at highest risk, anyone can drown. Every year in the United States, there are an estimated 3,960 fatal unintentional drownings. Fatal means they didn't make it, they died from it, including boating related drowning, that is an average of 11 drowning deaths per day. 8,080 non-fatal drownings, that is an average of 22 non-fatal drownings per day. Fatal drowning happens when the drowning results in death. Non-fatal drowning happens when a person survives a drowning incident with a range of outcomes, from no injuries at all to very serious injuries like even brain injury. So if it's a non-fatal drowning, it can result in long-term health care problems. For every child who dies from drowning, another 8 receive emergency department care for non-fatal drowning. So more than 40% of drownings treated in emergency departments require hospitalization or transfer for further care. Drowning injuries can cause brain damage and other serious outcomes, including long-term disability. So whether they're drowning in a pool, out in the backyard, or at a neighborhood center, or in the bathtub, it can cause disabilities. So who has a higher risk of drowning among all the people, whether it's elderly, the adults, or the children? Children ages 1 through 5 have the highest drowning rates. Most drownings in children 1 through 4 happen in swimming pools. Drowning can happen anytime, including when children are not expected to be near water, such as when they gain unsupervised access to pools. Fatal drowning is the second leading cause of unintentional injury death behind motor vehicle crashes for children ages 1 through 14. So you always want to have your children supervised. If you work from home or you work somewhere and your children are at a center, you want to be able to FaceTime them. You want to be able to make sure that the children are supervised and watched properly. Males. Nearly 80% of people who die from drowning are male. Many factors might contribute to higher rates of drowning among males, including increased exposure to water, risk-taking behaviors, and alcohol use. So it could be alcoholics that then go into the water, or they may just be a little bit more daring. And in some racial and ethnic groups, drowning death rates for American Indian or Alaska Native people ages 29 and younger are 2 times higher than the rates of white people, with the highest disparities among those ages 25 to 29. Drowning death rates for Black people are 1.5 times higher than the rates for white people. Disparities are highest among Black children ages 5 through 9. Rates 2.6 times higher in ages 10 to 14. Rates are 3.6 times higher. So you want to make sure you are trying to make sure that your child is in the best safe situation and being monitored and managed properly. In swimming pools, Black children ages 10 to 14 years drown at rates 7.6 times higher than white children. Black children and youth are more likely to drown in public pools, and white children and youth are more likely to drown in residential pools. So I'm going to show you some videos. It may not look like it's related, but sometimes when you're distracted, I'm going to show you situations where you say, well, this has nothing to do with leaving in the car. You didn't see a video of someone leaving someone in the car. But these are the kind of situations that may happen. Just picture it as if a child was left in the car and the mother went off and she was in this particular situation at the time her children were in a car, a hot car. This is what can cause a child to get distracted or susceptible to harm, because the mother may have gotten into a situation somewhere else after leaving the car, and this happens. Even though the videos are not showing that they left the child, it's just that if you see a mother, just visualize it as if a mother left the car and she went in and this is what situation happened while the children were away. So you just want to just imagine, sort of help to prepare you, like if you're going to have children, you don't want to get distracted with any situation. You could be in an argument with someone, you could be having fun, you could be on the phone, you may be in a nail spa. Something can happen and distract you, and your children could be susceptible to injury or danger. Let's take a look at this video.
A tragedy on the Treasure Coast. A Martin County infant is dead in what the sheriff calls a preventable and suspicious incident. That 9-month-old boy left alone in the family bathtub. WPTV News Channel 5's Megan McRoberts live at the sheriff's office as deputies are trying to learn about why this happened. Megan?
Yeah, Michael, the sheriff said tonight that those parents of the baby were actually sleeping in another room while that baby was still in the bathtub. Detectives have wrapped up interviewing those parents for the night. So the next big step toward determining whether or not there will be any criminal charges is awaiting the results of an autopsy scheduled for the baby Monday. Martin County deputies serve a search warrant inside this Hope Sound home on Parkway Drive Friday afternoon, when just hours before 9-month-old Cameron Davis's father called 911 about his drowning infant. When first responders got on scene,
we found the child being given CPR by the dad.
The baby couldn't be saved, pronounced dead at a local hospital. Investigators say for now they know the baby's mother put him in the bathtub.
She said that she told her husband that the baby was in the bathtub, but in any event, she left that baby unattended for at least the 20 minutes that we know of.
The baby's dad and mother were both asleep, while 2 other children were also in the home.
Mother's asleep, wakes up, finds the child floating, gets the father wakes up.
The baby was found face down in the water.
She found the baby, what they described as blue.
The family has been visited by the Martin County Sheriff's Office 3 times for a domestic incident, a DCF assist, and most recently a suspicious incident involving the children being left outside. This neighbor stepped in to help.
I told the kids, they said, sleep, Dad, sleep. I said, you need to go wake Dad up. Go inside, go wake Dad up.
Deputies arrived shortly after. Now the 2 other children, just 2 and 3 years old, have been removed from the home as the investigation continues. And the sheriff says detectives are working very closely with the state attorney's office moving forward as they work to determine if there will be any criminal charges. Reporting live in Martin County, I'm Megan McRoberts, WPTV News Channel 5.
Please feel free to pause the video, take a break, and resume at your own convenience. So, children between 3 years old and 12 years old, let's talk about that. It reads, children ages 3 to 5 can understand why some items and actions are dangerous. Nonetheless, their impulse often push them to do what they know is forbidden. Your child will have likely outgrown their crib. At this age, children may use their improved motor skills to investigate rooms and items which have been designated off limits. For example, cell phones and laptops, things like that. And if you're not supervising them, they could harm themselves. It says, child, double check previously installed latches, locks, and gates to see if your child is now able to overcome them. So that's a good idea. Explain to your child why certain items are dangerous, but do not expect them to obey you at all times. Continue keeping cleaners and medications out of reach. Teach children how to respond to the sound of smoke alarm at home. Make an escape plan and practice it with your kids. Check your smoke alarms each month. So this is a great example because you may want to think about signing up for a CPR class online, or an infant choking class, or a first aid class online, and if you can't afford that, you can always watch a free one. They have a lot of tutorials online. Have your kids there. It's fun if you practice this with them, because if there's ever a situation in the house, you'll be able to be prepared. You can also teach them about how to to exit unless when there's a fire. Teach them how to use a smoke alarm, the smoke detectors, things like that. This could be really fun activity for them, but they're learning something responsible, and then you can have them play roles as team lead and responder, and that's how they learn what they want to grow up to be, things like that. In the healthcare field, you'd be surprised what they want to do, or even a leader, at a business or things like that.
The man who found a Texas toddler alive after being lost in the woods for days is now talking about what happened.
ABC's Marcus Moore has the details.
In this morning's GMA First Look, the Texas toddler rescue that's making headlines. A 3-year-old found alive in the woods miles away from his family's home days after he went missing.
Christopher, is that you? And then he speaks again. I'm like, whoa, like, praise God.
The Good Samaritan who found him, speaking out in an exclusive interview with ABC News.
I don't know what to make of it. All I know is he was found safe. When I picked him up, he was still talking. He wasn't shaking. He wasn't nervous. Well, the things I would expect. Maybe he just sensed I've been found.
Landowner Tim Halfin retelling the moments leading up to when he found Christopher Ramirez and what reuniting the toddler with his mother means to him. Coming up at 7 a.m., new details about how the boy went missing and how he's doing this morning. With your GMA First Look, I'm Marcus Moore, ABC News, Houston.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel and download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.
So, what are some common recall safety product items that we may hear about when it deals with children? Some common products that are recalled for child safety issues or some sort of product flaw design could include a pacifier, for example. But pacifiers, if you're deciding on breastfeeding, you want to breastfeed exclusively. You don't want to use a bottle or a pacifier if you're breastfeeding, if you want it to go successfully for up to 3 years. You may also hear about recalls on dressers or toys or cribs or baby strollers, things like that. So you want to try to go on their website and maybe sign up for email alerts to let you know, to make you aware of any recalls they may have. For example, a few years back, I believe it was IKEA, they had a recall on a dresser that was falling over children. So it was in the news, parents made them aware of it, and they were able to address the issue. Another recent news clip showed a treadmill that was killing a few children because the children were at the crawling stage between 6 and 12 months old, or maybe a little older, and they were getting caught under there, and there were a few deaths, and the parents brought that up. The company researched it, and they were addressing the issue. So you want to be always updated on things, learn how to prepare your home properly for when you have a child. And it's best if you can think about that before you have children, or once you find out you are expecting. That's a great time to think about preparing the house for child safety measures. The National Safety Council Injury Facts. This is found on injuryfacts.nsc.org. So let's scroll down through this page. It says, in 2019, the U.S. experienced 173,040 preventable deaths, 48.3 million injuries, and it cost $197.9 billion in costs. Let's go down. So although it can review all injuries, or work-related injuries, or motor vehicle injuries, we're going to go over home and community injuries. So as I hold my cursor over, it says home and community data includes all preventable injuries and preventable injury-related deaths that are not work-related and do not involve motor vehicles on streets or highways. The data covers incidents that take place in homes and private property as well as public spaces. When we speak of preventable injuries that occur in the home and community, we're referring to the home sector and the public sector combined. Specifically, home and community includes all preventable injuries that are not work-related and do not involve motor vehicles on streets and highways. In 2019, an estimated 131,400 preventable injury-related deaths occurred in homes and communities, or about 76% of all preventable injury-related deaths that year. The number of deaths is up 4.9% from the 2018 total of 125,300. An additional 39,400,000 people suffered non-fatal medically consulted injuries. The death rate per 100,000 population was 40.03, about 4.4% higher than in 2018 rate. So preventable injuries and injury-related deaths in homes and communities in the year 2019 were 131,400 deaths, 39.4 million medically consulted injuries, 40.3 deaths per 100,000, so that's the death rate, 40.03, $501.9 billion in costs. Over the last 10 years, home and community deaths have increased 58%, and the death rate per 100,000 people has increased 49%. So let's take a look at this table. This is a line graph comparing home and community deaths and death rates in the United States from 1978 to 2019. So I just wanted to share with you, this is the legend. It's starting from the year 1999. As you can see, when you hold your pointer over there, it'll say the deaths were 52,700 in 1999. As you go over on the legend, in 2001, the deaths were 55,000. So as you keep holding your cursor over there, or you can hold it right on the green line, because the green line is the number of deaths, and the blue line is the death rate. So as you hold your line, your cursor over the green line, it's going to give you some values as time goes on. As you can see, it's steadily climbing higher and higher each year. So as I'm holding it on 2015, the deaths are 106,700. But the blue line shows the death rate of 33.2% for 2015, and so on. And so on the right side, it's also have some other values, 12, 24, 36, and 48. These are the deaths per 100,000 in the population. And if you go on the left side here, this is the deaths, the total deaths. 40,000, 80,000, 120,000, and 160. And so this will match what's going on here. Deaths, 52,700, and it's about right here on the graph. About 12 out of 100 people were injured, and about 1 out of 2,500 died from a preventable injury in the home and community venue in 2019. About 43% of the deaths and injuries involved workers while they were away from work. The leading cause of death in our homes and communities is poisoning. So that's opioid dependency. We have an opioid epidemic in the United States, and 50% of that is from that, followed by falls at 29%. So let's look at this pie chart of the cause of preventable injury-related deaths in home and communities in the United States in 2019. The total number of preventable injury-related deaths was 131,400. But this pie chart is breaking it down on that total of 131,400. So for opioid dependency, that accounts for 50% of those deaths. Falls account for 29%, or 38,600. So falls could be falling all the way down the stairs, or a child is riding a bicycle and the child doesn't have a helmet on and the protective gear on, and they fall and hit their head. There could be so many different ways they could fall. They could fall out of a baby's crib or out of a high chair if they're not supervised or watched properly. And for drownings, it accounts for 3% or 3,600 of preventable deaths. So a child or a person may not know how to swim. They don't have a life jacket. They go too far out in the water. They get tired halfway. Or a child is left alone in a bathtub, unsupervised, and they drown. They were too little to be left alone in the tub, and they drowned. Although it's not intentional, it does happen a lot in families, and I'm going to show you some videos on some drownings and some other situations that you can use as a learning lesson. And choking. For example, a child may be given a grape or something like that. A grape, when the child is not able to break down the food, could choke on a grape, or the child put something in its mouth like a marble or a jack, or the child's food wasn't properly broken down and it had bones in it. The child choked on that as well. Fire, flames, and smoke. So people die from smoke inhalation. Fires, flames, that's 2% or 2,860. Mechanical suffocation and other causes. So breaking down the leading causes of death in the home and community venue by broad age groups provides further insight into how risks change throughout life. Among children under age 15, the leading cause of preventable deaths are mechanical suffocation, followed by drowning. In contrast, the leading cause of death among adults 15 to 64 years old by a large margin is poisoning, driven by opioid drug overdoses. And the leading cause of death among adults 65 and older is falls. So let's take a look at this bar graph. So this bar graph is the same information, just a different illustration. This is a stackable bar graph. It talks about poisoning, falls, choking, drowning, fire, flames, and it's giving you information on the total number of deaths by age. So as you take your cursor and use the pointer over each bar, and the green is going to give you one value, which is this age group, 15 to 64. The blue is 0 to 14, and age 65 and older is light blue, as you can see. So you just would hold it over and you would get a value. Falls, ages 65 and older, choking, drowning, fire, and flames. So as we can see by these injuries, it is also a good idea to consider thinking about taking a CPR class or a first aid class, because it's great for the kids to learn how to do that. You can always do a little simulation in the house, teach them how to use the fire extinguishers, learn how to help each other with choking, or recognize the signs of it, and practice that in the house. You can always take a class online to learn much more about it. It may be fun for the children as well, the family as well. So let's take a look at all the types of injuries so we can learn more about what are we seeing in the United States as far as how many injuries occur, when does it happen, is it improving? As we can see through this chart, preventable injury-related deaths are going up each year. In 2019, it's 173,040. In 2018, it was 167,127. And it was 3.5% year-over-year increase. So according to the World Health Organization, about 55.4 million people died worldwide in 2019. Of this total, 3,159,000 died from preventable injuries. Even though we know this is all from the Most High, we are given common sense where we can try to make things better, make our environment better by learning from information and trying to make the environment safer. While preventable injuries are the world's 5th leading cause of death, They have been the third leading cause of death in the United States since 2016. Behind heart disease and malignant neoplasm cancer, U.S. preventable injury-related deaths were last ranked as the fifth leading cause of death in 2012. Leading causes of death in the world in 2019, total deaths, 55,415,772. What is the leading cause of death? It is heart disease. 17,863,827 worldwide. Malignant neoplasm or cancer, 9,296,649 worldwide, and so on. So as you hold this up here, you will see what the causes of death are. Infectious and parasitic diseases, respiratory diseases, preventable diseases, 3,159,247 worldwide, and so on. Respiratory infections, digestive, neurological conditions, and neonatal conditions. 2,037,549. So with leading causes of preventable injury death in the world in 2019, there were 3,159,247. And what was the leading cause of preventable injury death in the world? Road injury, with 1,282,150. Falls was the second one. Drownings was the top three, rounds out the top three. So it was road injury, falls, and drowning were the top three. Followed by exposure to mechanical forces, fire, heat, and substances, poisonings, natural disasters, and other preventable injuries. What are the top 10 preventable injuries in the United States in 2019? The total deaths from preventable injuries in 2019 was 173,040. So poisoning was the top one with opioid dependency at 38%, followed by falls at 23%, motor vehicle at 22%, and so on down the list. And you're more than welcome to look at this at www.injury.nsc.org. The total non-fatal injuries where the person experienced an injury or a fall, but it didn't cause loss of life. So total non-fatal injuries was 24,823,156, with falls as the leader. Struck by or against something was second, where, for example, a child was running, they hit their head on a piece of furniture, they fell, bumped their head on something, but didn't cause life-threatening injuries, but was injured. Motor vehicle occupants may not have had their seatbelt on, the child wasn't in a car seat. Overexertion, other specified, poisoning, opioid dependency, cut, piercing, bites, unknown, specified, foreign body. Race and ethnicity. The frequency of preventable injury-related deaths varies with race and ethnicity. Non-Hispanic or Latino whites experience 73% of all preventable deaths. The next largest proportion of deaths occurred to non-Hispanic blacks, 13%, closely followed by Hispanic or Latinos, 11%. Compared to the race and ethnicity representation in the U.S. population, non-Hispanic whites experience disproportionately more preventable deaths. Non-Hispanic whites represent 61% of the population, but 73% of the preventable deaths. In contrast, Hispanic or Latinos represent 18% of the population, but suffer 11% of the preventable deaths. Deaths by race and Hispanic origin, United States 2019. So not Hispanic or Latino white, the death total was 125,755, or 73%. Not Hispanic or Latino black or African American, 21,954, or 13%. And then we have other statistics here: Hispanic Latino, 18,874, or 11%, and so on. Please feel free to pause the video, take a break, and resume at your own convenience. Thank you. Hot car deaths. Heat stroke deaths of children in vehicles. The number of child hot car deaths for 2020 was 25. So far in 2021, 23 deaths have been reported. On average, 38 children under the age of 15 die each year from heat stroke after being left in a vehicle. Nearly every state has experienced at least one death since 1998. In both 2018 and 2019, a record number of 53 children died after being left in a vehicle. So, of course, you don't want to leave your child in a hot vehicle or a cold vehicle, or if it's really raining outside or it's a bad storm. If your children are unattended, they may expose themselves to danger. For example, if you have to go to a doctor's appointment, you have to leave your children in a vehicle, you're not able to watch your children appropriately. If you have to go to the nail spa, or you have to go to the supermarket, or you may see somebody outside the vehicle, you may get on the phone, you may be talking to a friend and you want to talk privately, and you leave the children unattended, you may be exposing them to danger. For example, little children are curious. They love to explore their surroundings. They love colors, shapes, and new environments. So they don't make good judgment at a certain age. And so they may open the door, get out the vehicle, and explore things and expose themselves to danger. And you're not able to protect them because you're not able to see them. Sometimes there may be an older child in the car. And even though the child may display a level of responsibility, he or she may get out, see friends. They may not see the children in the car, and they are left to their own doing. So you want to train up your child the best way you can. I'm not going to read over that, but you're more than welcome to read the whole full article on your own on www.injuryfacts.nsc.org. Now let's go down to this map of the United States. So in this map of the United States, it's going to tell you how many deaths occurred in that state. For example, in California, there were 55 child heat stroke deaths in a vehicle in 1998 through the current time. In the state of Hawaii, there were 5 deaths. In Texas, 134 deaths. In Louisiana, 35. Mississippi, 20. Alabama, 29. Georgia, 35. South Carolina, 22. Florida, 99. Virginia, 29. Pennsylvania, 12. New York, 10. Connecticut, 5. Massachusetts, 4. I believe Rhode Island was 1. And Maine, 2. So you can hold your cursor over each state, and it's going to give you a value of the number of children that died from a heat stroke death that were left in a vehicle. And this is from 1998 to the current time. So remember, as you go through the map, it will give you values of the number of child heat stroke deaths in vehicles in the United States from 1998 to the current time. So let's scroll down. Let's scroll down to the graph over here. And this is a bar chart. And this bar chart has a range of 0, 20, 40, and 60, as well as a legend from 1998 until 2021. And it reads, 1998, there were a number of 39 deaths from a child being left in a vehicle. So this is the range of deaths, 0, 20, 40, and 60. There were 39 in 1998. As we go over each bar, you see it decreases a little bit, but over time it's going to steadily increase. It's 43 deaths in 2003, 47 in 2005. Then there was a dip in 2006 of 30, but then it began to climb again, 43 deaths in 2008. In 2010, there were 51 deaths. 2011 and 2012, 34. Then it starts to climb up again to 45, 44 deaths in 2013. In 2015, there were 25 deaths. So it decreased significantly in 2015. But then, as time goes on, it increases steadily. 39 in 2016, 44. And then here it is in 2018 and 2019, where there were reported 53 deaths of a child being left in a vehicle and dying from a heat stroke. So what was reported in 2021 was 23 deaths of a child being left in a vehicle. So far, that is the lowest since the reporting in 1998. Let's take a look at this next video. Hot car news clip.
You don't leave the air conditioner off for a kid in the car. If you really care about that kid, you're going to make sure that kid is safe.
A man with strong feelings and recording his confrontation, seen here with a woman shopping in a convenience store while her child was alone in her car. And tonight, we're looking at what the law says is right and wrong.
4 in Your Corner's Deborah Souverain speaking to that man who confronted the mom in that store. She joins us live in Cape Coral tonight. Deborah?
Amy and Patrick, it's something parents may do often without even thinking twice. You're busy, you're running errands, so you leave the kids in the car while you go into a convenience store like this 7-Eleven, for instance. But are you breaking the law? When Tony Strong noticed the mom leave her child in a car alone, he pulled out his cell phone and began recording.
So you can see somebody left their kid in their car.
He then goes inside the convenience store to confront the mom.
We'll find out who this is.
He spots his target, who appears to be wearing a work uniform.
This is a lady that left her kid in the car.
A few seconds later, she notices him standing behind her.
No, you're good. But you know you left your kid in the car, right? I'm just saying, what if that was the summertime? I got the impression that she really didn't care.
Strong isn't a father, but says stories of children dying after being left in hot cars is why he chose not to cut this mom any slack.
I'm just saying, you shouldn't be leaving your kid in your car.
He's perfectly fine. The air conditioner was on.
It was on. Okay. What got me was she said the air conditioner was on. So I don't know how long she was in the store, but still, when you're in a car, the weather gets hotter by the minute.
The entire video is just under 4 minutes, but Strong says he doesn't know exactly how long the child was alone in the car. 2 minutes after he first confronted the mom inside the store, she walks out carrying food.
You should not leave your kid in your car. Well, it's a kid. You should not even leave.
She says it's only been 5 minutes and claims it's not hot outside. But does that really matter? I looked up the laws about this, and it turns out leaving your kid in the car alone technically isn't illegal. According to Florida statute, if your child is over 6 years old, it's not a problem. But if they're under 6, they can't be left alone in a car for more than 15 minutes. If the motor is running, they can't be left unsupervised at all. And if their health is in danger, it's also a no-go.
She started getting a little feisty. Oh, he's okay. How do you know he's okay if you're inside the store and he's in the car?
Strong tells me he wasn't trying to make the mom look bad, but was only concerned for the child's safety. He's hoping other parents will think twice now before making the same decision. Now, if your child is under 6 years old and they fit the criteria you heard me say in my story, you could face a misdemeanor offense and pay up to $500 in fines. Reporting live tonight in the Breaking News Tracker, I'm Deborah Souverain, Fox 4, in your corner.
All right, thank you for
Hot car news clip.
I'm Carolyn Gussoff outside Nassau County Arraignment Court, where a Flushing couple is accused of reckless endangerment for allegedly leaving their baby boy locked inside a sweltering hot car. It happened yesterday afternoon outside the luxury Americana Mall in Manhasset in the afternoon heat. Police say Xingxiao Zhao, 34 years old, and Lu Lu, 28 years old, both a mother and father of a 1-year-old, parked their Mercedes in front of a high-end jewelry store, leaving that baby son sleeping in a rear child seat. Witnesses noticed the infant was alone, crying and sweating, but were unable to open the door and notified police, who found the car not running and the child in distress. The air conditioning off, the windows open just a tiny bit, they said in court. Officers broke a window and removed the baby, who was crying, red in color and drenched in sweat. Now, police today say that the child was in that car for about an hour. In court just a few moments ago, prosecutors say that when they arrived back at the car, they asked police, what's wrong? Well, what's wrong is that child was in distress, was taken to a hospital, is expected to be okay. The father has been arraigned and has been told there is an order of protection. He must take a parenting course and agree that the child will not be placed in any more danger. In Hempstead, Long Island, Carolyn Gussoff, CBS 2 News.
Please feel free to pause the video, take a break, and resume at your own convenience. Let's take a look at this next video.
Hey, break that up. A brawl inside a Milwaukee restaurant involving employees. And we're going to start with this story you'll only see on Fox 6. Outrageous video from inside a Popeyes restaurant showing a large group of employees getting into a vicious brawl.
This all went down while customers were inside the store. You see them there. Our Casey Cronish joins us live with a closer look at the video and the man who recorded it.
Little did one Milwaukee man know he was in for quite the showdown when he visited Popeyes earlier this week. Once inside, he witnessed not one, not two, but 3 fights, pulling out his cell phone just in time to capture some of the commotion.
It was just out of control. You know, that was the first thing that went through my head, like, this is out of control. Like,
a quick trip to Popeyes turned into anything but for Richard Forte Wednesday night. Avoiding the drive-through line at 76th and Good Hope, Forte went inside.
I said to myself, I said, wow, it's a lot of people working here.
A lot of people soon turned into a lot of chaos.
I heard one of them yell, it's a fight. They ran to the back by the grills, okay? Now, it was a fight back there. I didn't get that one on tape.
Forte says tensions were just beginning to mount.
Then 2 guys started fighting again.
Feeling the hostility,
something is about to go down.
Forte grabbed his cell phone and started recording. A violent fight breaks out. Chairs go flying, with several employees throwing punches.
Hey, break that up.
Forte is heard on the video telling them to break it up. Soon, the situation cools off. Forte leaving empty-handed.
Honestly, I wasn't even going to get the chicken sandwich, you know.
Popeyes franchise owner John Broderson said in a statement to Fox 6, "This was an unfortunate, isolated incident which we take very seriously. The dining room was closed immediately after the altercation at 9:30 p.m. As a result of this, 7 employees were terminated from the company, including the manager on duty." Milwaukee police responded to Popeyes, but no arrests were made. It is still unclear what sparked the fight in the first place. Reporting live near 76th and Good Hope, Casey Cronus, Fox 6 News.
Looks like there's going to be some job openings at that Popeyes very soon. Casey, thank you.
Let's take a look at this video.
What's up, little bitch? What's up? Come back here. No. What's up, bitch? Just go get your mama. I'm right here. Don't look around.
How old are you, little bro?
Don't do it, pussy.
How old are you, little bro?
Don't do it, pussy. You ain't
Just
gonna
go.
do shit.
Just go get your mom. How old are you?
Fuck yeah.
Bro, what the?
Hold on.
Hold up, bitch.
I just threw it at your mother. You're a fucking pussy.
No, my girl.
Get ready, bitch. Get ready, bitch.
Don't fucking hit her. Just go get your mother and take her to the car. That's it.
Bro, your mom's about to get knocked out. Your mom's about to get knocked out.
Just go get your mom and take her to the car.
Assault me. See what happens. Go ahead. Go to the squad. Shut your ass up. Fucking tiny ass little bitch. Hell yeah. What's up? Soy pistolero, bitch.
Hey, come talk about it.
Hell yeah. Soy fucking pistolero, bitch. Hell yeah. Let's do this, bitch. Hell yeah. Calm me fucking down, bitch. What's up, bitch? Hell yeah. I'll slice you up, bitch. You ain't shit, motherfucker. You and your fucking squad, fucking pussy, soy pistolero, puto. Fuck yeah, bitch. I'll throw you in the fucking backyard, bitch. Hell yeah. What's up, bitch? Shut up, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Call your husband. Your husband got you out of here. Y'all were scared. Y'all were scared. Y'all caught pussy as soon as I posted up. Look at you, little bitch, and your mom fucking fight for you. Look at you, yeah, stay there. Hell yeah. When you go, do something, bitch, I'll knock you out. Do something, bitch. Hit me, I'll knock you out, bitch. I'll knock you out. Hell no, bitch. Don't talk shit when I'm on bitch. Bitch, you were right here in front of my face. Hit me, I'll knock the fuck out of you.
Alright, come on.
Pussy, over here.
Stop saying I can't do my son.
Don't do it, bitch.
Don't wait.
Bitch, you're gonna walk out and cut the fuck up.
Arturo, the police is coming. Stop. Yes. Margarita, stop. The police is coming, okay? It's okay. It's okay.
Go ahead, bitch.
Yes, it's okay, Margarita.
Go ahead, bitch. I'm the fuck.
You're the bitch. Tú eres la perra.
You're stupid. Shut up.
Tú eres la perra.
Shut up. You're stupid. Hell yeah, walk out of here, pussy.
Eres una perra.
Hell yeah.
Eres una perra.
You're a bitch. You're gonna walk out of here sliced up, bitch. You're gonna walk out of here, bitch. You're gonna walk out of here with a big old gash on your face. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
Eres una perra.
Man, you work for shit, man.
Eres una perra.
It ain't worth it. Get out of here. Kamari, don't put me on the internet. You don't have my permission.
I'm not gonna put you on the internet. I'm just recording in case one of them do something crazy. For our safety.
Well then fucking record them. I'm gonna defend myself. Hell yeah, bitch, I don't get that for nothing. Hell yeah. I don't get that for nothing. I don't get that for nothing. Santa muerte, bitch, I don't get that for nothing. Yeah, I don't get that for nothing. Fuck yeah. Soy pistolero. I don't get that for nothing. I don't get these placas for nothing, bitch. For real.
I feel sorry for your wife.
Straight up.
I feel
straight up. My wife was sorry for you.
I feel sorry for your wife. When the police come down.
I'm gonna defend myself. You got me fucked up.
Oh my god.
Look at you. You're scared over there. Look at you. You're scared, bro. You're scared. You're scared,
How old
bro.
are you, stupid?
Do something. Throw that at me. Throw that at me. I'll throw this at you. I'll throw this at you.
He's 17 years
I
old.
will. I'm gonna defend myself.
How
I'm gonna
the
defend
fuck-
myself. Shut up,
how
pussy.
old
I'm
are
right
you?
here. Shut up, pussy. Come around. I'm right here. I'm right here. Hell yeah.
How old are you, little girl?
Okay. 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 Shut the fuck. You're a clown.
Bitch, back the fuck up! You got me fucked
Get
up!
out of here.
Control him before
Get out
I
of here.
fucking beat him
Get out
up!
of here.
Hey, come here. No, he
Get
threw
out of
something
here.
out. That's a
Get
nice
out of here.
margarita. He didn't throw it to you.
Get out of here.
He didn't throw it to you.
Get ready. Y'all get ready.
Yes, you get
Hell yeah,
ready.
y'all
You
get ready.
get ready.
Y'all get ready.
Go. Oh my god. Don't let no nigga. I know. Don't let no nigga talk to your mom like that, though, bro.
I know, nigga, but what?
She's not supposed to be here, neither one of them.
She doesn't work here anymore. I'm the manager.
No,
You need to leave. You need to leave.
I'm the manager.
She's here picking up her last check. She's here picking up her last check. I'm the manager. I'm the manager.
No,
She's fired. She's fired.
I
She's
didn't
here
do
picking up her
anything.
last check.
It was him.
She should have left.
I just think I'm
Ma'am,
trying to
ma'am, you should have left. No.
Yes, sis.
I'm the manager. I am the manager. I'm the assistant
No,
manager.
sir, it was him.
All right, we're here. We're here.
No,
Put on my
it
shirt.
wasn't him, sir.
Yeah, put on my shirt.
Sir, he told me that like that.
You do that at me first.
Okay, let me get my purse and my check. Come on, give me my check.
The cameras have everything, ma'am.
This is her.
The cameras have everything.
Her
The
stuff.
cameras have everything. Is this her bag?
Yeah.
Just leave it here.
Okay.
Just leave it here.
I don't fucking get paid enough for this shit, man. Where the fuck is my shirt at?
Just leave all of the stuff there.
Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Does she need her stuff?
Yeah, she need her purse. She need her purse and her check.
Yeah, no, this is them.
Long time no see. Oh my god.
So in closing, I like to share a few scriptures that I learned in the book of Sirach, chapter 6, verses 7 through 17. And it reads, If thou wouldst get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Again, some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed of thy friends. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure. Nothing doeth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Whoso fear the Lord shall direct his friendship aright, for as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. So I hope these scriptures in the 1611 King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha was able to help you with this lesson today. When you're looking for care providers, or you're just trying to make sure your children don't fall into any of those categories with preventable injuries, or swimming, or burns, or falls, or any other ailment or injury that they experience, because they're preventable injuries. And of course, the Most High decides what happens, but this is just a learning lesson and some information that you may want to share. You may want to think about even taking a CPR class or infant choking class, and have your children, your family involved in it. It'll be a fun activity for the family. They may really enjoy that. So I like to say, all praise to the Most High in Christ blessed. Shalom.